go get Renee. Let's go see where Renee is, okay? Nice big, couple big batches here.
Very rocky.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the clean ones are in there. So this is a leak before, and you dig it out right here. Now what we're going to do is you take and you just push this outer skin back like this, like that. It makes it nice and clean. Give it a little rinse. And that's what it looks like all done. So, well, we're back from digging leeks, and this is the batch that we just brought in. It's not a very big batch, but it's going to work out really nice, I think, for the leaves that we want to preserve. So, one of the things I was looking at was there's a website called National Center for Home Food Preservation. And I'll put the link in the description down below. But they had some excellent suggestions on how to dehydrate foods. So in looking around in there, they didn't have leeks for actually dehydrating the leaves for that, but leeks are very close to the texture of leaf of spinach. So what we're going to do in our dehydrator, which I love using this Magic Mill dehydrator. It's about $100 on Amazon. I'll put a link for that down below as well. But what I really like about it, it's all plastic type material, but it does an excellent job for dehydrating, because I love doing bananas and apples and stuff like that. But we're going to try to do some leeks. Now, I've tried this earlier and I did some experimenting, and I've got some really fine leeks dried, and then I also had some coarser type leaves. So, and it took me 3 or 4 different times to kind of figure out the best settings, but I think just based upon reading what we found on the National Center for Home Food Preservation, I'm going to stick with their settings because I kind of experimented with that. So let me show you how I put this all together, and it won't take long at all. We're going to take most of these greens, I'm going to pop as much as we can in the side of the dehydrator, and then we're going to save the tips and make the other part of the greens. We're going to make ramp butter. So that'll be the next part of this video. So I hope you like that. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so now one of the things that they were saying is that when you go to dry these leaves, you want to try them to get them as dry as much as you possibly can. So I had just washed them off in the creek, as you seen earlier, and now I'm just going to kind of grab a paper towel, and we'll kind of pat these down as we go to set them into the dryer. One of the things that they did say is try not to bruise the leaves. They said try to keep them nice and flat and laid out. I'm not exactly quite sure why, but that was one of the things that they were saying, you know, try not to bruise the leaves before you dry them. If you got any comments in reference to that, I'd love to hear that in your information down below, because I'm kind of new to trying to figure this out. But I love leeks, so we're going to try all sorts of different things with them. Okay, so let's try now. We'll take some of these, we'll kind of dry them off, and we will get them in the dryer. Okay, so now towards the end, I had some extra greens from an earlier batch. So these are kind of like wrinkled up a little bit. So I'm going to try them and just kind of see how that works inside, which is the top tray. Now, what they wanted us to do is there's some different settings and temperature that you can set this for. When I started this the first time, I started about 4 to 6 hours and it didn't work very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to timer, and I'm going to set it to 11 hours just to kind of see how that works. Also, they said you don't want to cook the leaves, so you don't want to go high on the temperature. Now, the last batch that I made here, It turned out really good, but they said you don't want it to be moist or it could mold up, so that could cause a problem. So this was all done at 104 degrees at about 10 hours. So what I'm going to try here is I'm going to up the temperature a little bit more. I'm going to say here, let's try temperature, and they said don't go over 130 degrees, or 135 degrees, that was the max. So what I've done is I've set the temperature to 122 degrees, so we'll kind of see how that works. So other than that, we'll let that sit for 11 hours, and we'll come back in the morning and see how all that works.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Okay, so here we are the next morning. Had a good night's sleep, and hopefully our leeks are nice and dry. Yeah, and I've got an audience this morning that's kind of going crazy back here. But so our mission is we're going to try to make 2 levels of leek grindings of dried. So we got some real fine stuff, and then I have a little bit of coarser type. That we're going to experiment with and see how that's going to work. Okay, so we open this up, and if we take a look, these were the leaves that I put in that were at the last minute that were kind of damaged, and if you notice, they do break up nicely, but they don't look as pretty as the ones that were whole leaved. So if you take a look at the whole leaf piece, you notice how that's just all one nice piece all put together. So what we're going to do now is, and I'll put this in the, listing here. This is the Magic Pamper Chef chopper that I use, and usually what I'll do is I'll just take some of this and just kind of pop it in. And the thing of it is they also said now it's still crispy and brittly. That's what they wanted to make sure when you go to put it in. If it's not brittly, it could potentially mold over time. So you want to make sure you get all the moisture out as much as you possibly can. I ended up doing this at 122 degrees at 11 hours. So it worked out pretty decent. Okay, so why don't we chop all this up and we'll talk in a second. Here's our really fine dust, leek greens, and then here's our thicker, more grainier type. Now, if you guys have some ideas on how to be able to use this, I'd love to be able to see your suggestions down in the comments. Other than that, stay tuned. We've got another section coming up on how to make leek butter, so we're going to give that a try, or leek or ramp butter. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button down below, and we'll see you on our next leek trip. Thank you. Okay, so as you can see, we're just mixing up a couple ingredients for what they call the most delicious Ramp/LEEK butter. I'll send you the recipe. It'll be in the link down below. This is called a recipe by the nerds with the knives. So it's a pretty, I hear it's an excellent a dish. So normally you have to have a pound of butter, but I don't quite have a full pound of butter, and this has been sitting out on the counter for a couple hours because you want to make sure that the butter is room temperature. They would like inside of here of 6 to 8 ounces of Ramps, greens, and the white part together. I tried to mash that up as much as I possibly could with my Pampered Chef, which I absolutely love. I'll leave a link for that down below as well. They also want a teaspoon of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, greatly fined up. So as you've seen in earlier there, I was just kind of grounding that up. So that's about 2 teaspoons there. And then we want 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And then we're going to basically mix all in this with the butter here. So I'm hoping that this is going to be, it's kind of soft right now, so it should come together quite nicely. What I might have to do though, this might be a couple segments, because if this is too soft, I'm not going to be able to roll it out on parchment paper. So I think what I'll do is I'll mix all this up, make sure that I got everything all together, then we'll stick it in the refrigerator so that it's nice and hard. And then in the morning, what we'll do is we'll pull out the parchment paper, lay it all out, and then we'll roll it up so that we can use it in butter sticks. Okay, so let's get started. So again, if this is the first time I've made butter, so if there's any suggestions or things that I should be doing, I'll be more than glad to take all the advice I can get here. Oh, I hate to let those greens go to waste. I don't want to put too much in there because I'm not quite sure if I add too much, if it overdoes it. So, but you know what? I'm a LEEK guy. So let's add the rest of those greens. Again, I'm really looking forward to trying this out. And again, if you got any suggestions, I'm all up for that. Let me see if I can find a container that we can stick this in. Oh, yes, I got some right here. I got a cream cheese container and sour cream container, and I think it will fit really nicely. I'm going to put it in the cottage cheese container here. Okay, let's scoop that in there. Let that sit overnight in the refrigerator. It highly recommends, it says you can actually freeze this if you wanted to as well. So that would probably taste really good. I might do another batch, but I'll make sure that I try this out to see if I've overdid it with the Leeks. And I might try freezing, because I also have Leeks in the freezer from almost 3 years ago. Beautiful bulbs, and they I vacuum sealed them. The big thing when you go to freeze Leeks is you want to make sure that all the water is out, so that way you don't get any freezer burn whatsoever. Okay, and that is just about it. take a look at what we made. There it is. I think it's going to taste absolutely scrumptious. So we'll let that chill down for the evening, and we'll try that on some butter or some toast in the morning with some eggs. I'm sure you could probably even cook with that. But again, I'm really looking forward to your ideas, and we'll put that in the refrigerator, and we'll see you in the morning. And if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button down below, and I'm sure I'll come up with some more goodies to make. Talk to you later.
Early the next morning.
Wow, that was one heck of a breakfast. I just want to kind of recap of what we went over. It took 3 or 4 days to put this together. Actually, it took a couple weeks to put this together. But it was a lot of fun doing that. The weather has been great. It has been awesome to spend some time with the family and just kind of go out and enjoy the nice outdoors. I also have some other really cool videos coming, 360 video of leek digging, which is kind of cool. So stay tuned to that. I'll send the link to that down below. All the links to how I made everything, the tools and everything, are all put down below in the description. I've built a timeline so you can kind of jump through these videos very easily and kind of move around. And then if you've got any ideas on how to use some of these things, I really had a lot of fun making the leek butter, leek dip butter or ramp butter. Some dips with Ritz crackers. They've all been just so much fun to be able to do that. And I'm really looking forward to trying these dried leeks. I've never done them before, and I've talked to a couple people, and like I say, there's some links down below on preserving foods and stuff like that. I think we nailed it because this is just really good. It's brittle, and I think it's going to turn out excellent for later, especially in the winter and stuff like that. Here is some leeks that I actually froze. These now been 3 years, and they've actually turned out great. I've already cracked open one of these already, and I discovered that I had almost 8 or 9 of these packages, and I discovered that these particular leeks, they actually turned out really well because I made sure there was no water inside when I went to freeze dry them. So I actually dried them off and then vacuum packed them and then just froze them, and they have turned out great. So I had one package that didn't turn out quite so well. As a matter of fact, this package here was one that is a little wet, and you can kind of see they're discolored just a little bit, but we're going to open this up a little bit later and kind of see how that works. So there'll be a video on taking a look at some frozen leeks, how well they turned out, and then I'll kind of give you some ideas on what I used to package them and freeze them. And I'll also try freezing some of this leek butter, which actually turned out really, really good. And in all, it's been a great leek season. So, and really enjoyed it with the family. Don't forget to check out the 360 video of leek digging too. That's a lot of fun. So if you got any ideas on how to use leeks in different recipes, I've already been looking around on Facebook and met some great people there and got some great ideas as well. So thank you for all of that, and hopefully maybe we can put together a nice video of making some of the different things. So, well, I wish everybody a very safe and time out there, safe and healthy time. I know this COVID-19 is really kind of got us locked down, but at least we'll be able to go out and adventure with the family and just spend some time in the woods with the animals and just really have a lot of fun. So thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button down below if you like it. And be safe out there. Thanks. This is what this is. This is leek Joanna. This will get you so stinked up that social distancing will not be a problem.